welcome back to Lynx Talk. Today we are here to discuss with you Season 1, Episode 11, The Art of the Deal. But first we have a new character to discuss with you guys, played with the amazing Graham Greene.
Yep, Rico Nez. He's a traveling salesman. He kind of blows in the Lynx River, smooth talker.
Rico Nez isn't even his real name in the show either.
No, we find that out later, but we'll get into that.
I guess we will move on to the summary. So, we start off with Lois trying to buy groceries, and Jerry is giving her a hard time. And Michelle strong arms him into letting her get the groceries.
Yeah, which, I mean, you know, sometimes you kind of feel for Jerry, actually, in a way, because he's trying to run a business, but then on the other hand, you know, people need to eat. Come on, you gotta be a little bit compassionate a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, well, he did give, and it didn't take much for him to give either.
No.
So then the new guy strolls into town, and he likes Elsie's moccasins. Now, he bought some up north, and they were quite expensive.
Well, down south. Actually.
Sorry. Yeah, they are up north, right? I don't know why I said down south.
Well, it'd be up north to us, but to the people in north of 60, Winnipeg is down south. I think that's where he said he bought them. But he said he paid a substantial amount of money.
Yes, so he's got lots of cash flowing around, and we find out his name is Rico Nez.
Yeah, he pulls out, actually, a big wad of cash and just slaps it down on the table in the coffee shop and says, you know, anybody who does good work, I've got money, basically. So he goes into the band hall. He wants to rent it. He's got some business to conduct. Harris tries to get $250 for the band hall, and Peter kind of interjects and says, well,
almost.
Yeah.
Because after, like, kind of seeing his money, because he's like, how much or whatever, he's like, $250 or whatever, just about to, and then...
Yeah, it's $250 for and then Peter's kind of like, it's $100 for the afternoon.
For the day or whatever, it was.
So anyways, he gets the hall. So then...
And then Peter taunts Harris with the $100 bill. He kind of like, you know.
Yeah, and he says.
He kind of just like holds it out there and kind of like just taunts it with him. But yeah, and then we see Eric's moose call.
Yeah, he's got like a moose call device, right? That he's got for hunting. And he's gonna go with Joe. So he goes to see Joe right after. They're gonna go hunting.
Before that, Michelle ran Rico Nez's name.
Oh yeah, sorry. She running it into her Tandy 5000 computer. Yeah, I don't know what you get out of those computers.
I don't think I was alive when they came out.
No, definitely not. These were like a 1980s special.
Again.
So then.
Younger than Kyla.
So then she comes up with some alternate names for him, I think, right?
She just runs his name. That's it.
Oh, okay, that's all we got, right?
Yeah, and Eric goes to see Joe for to go hunting. Yeah,
and Joe's all laid up in his cot.
Yeah, and he's all in immense pain. So
poor Joe. He seems to have some maybe stomach problems or something. I don't know. So then. TV teases Joey because Joey wants to go in and check out Rico's show, his little presentation, and TV's like, it's jewelry, it's girl stuff, you know, like he's all like this. And you could tell that actually TV wanted to go in, I think.
Yeah, but he just needed like a real excuse.
Yeah, he wanted to be able to like blame it on Joey.
So Joey said something about like money or like there's nothing else to do or something. I forget. Yeah, that was it.
So TV's kind of like, all right, let's go.
It's like fine, whatever. Whatever. It's your fault, Joey, that we're here looking like losers. So Rico Nez trying to sell himself to the town.
Yeah.
And TV is the only one who can see him for what he is.
Yeah, or at least one of the first ones that does.
The only one like in the town community that's not like outside of the ring, like Peter and Harris, you know, like Chief and band manager. And the RCMP, obviously, they're outside of the regular range. But I mean, like, the actual town itself all
Yeah.
seemed to be just eating up what he was
Oh,
saying.
he's a very, you can see he's a very charismatic guy, and he's got a lot of money.
And he's nice,
and he's respecting people, right?
Yeah,
he's telling them that, that their work is worth money, and it is,
and
right?
it's beautiful. It's a stunning work.
Like, let's face it, I mean, like, Aboriginal craftsmen probably don't get nearly the money that they deserve most of the time for what they make.
Honestly, I'd love to see some real people's work.
Yeah.
Instead of just stuff, that's, you see all these, like, mass-produced stuff at stores all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if you guys have work that you've done,
Yeah, if you want to show it to us, send us
anything,
pictures.
we'd love to see it, honestly. Lynxrivertalk@gmail.com. We'll keep going. So yeah, Sarah checks on Joe. It's kind of, she's been saying it's kind of like the stomach thing that's been going on, and she really thinks it has to do with his diet.
Mm-hmm.
And she's taken him off everything else, so she thinks it is meat.
Yeah, and she says, he has to stop eating meat, and Eric's kind of like, he's a hunter, it's like, he's not going to stop eating meat, it's not going to happen, right?
So yeah, Rico Nez gets an assistant TV.
Yep, he says he needs an assistant, he needs somebody that knows
his
everybody.
offers, like, money, of course, so yeah, and then, but now he needs a hotel. He's like, where do I stay? He's like, and
TV's like, Jerry's place. He's just like, oh great, because he's just kind of encroached on Jerry's business by coming into town.
Yeah, and not only how he came, like, he was really rude. He just, like, waltzed into his store and, like, just started talking.
He basically made a presentation in Jerry's store that kind of, like, cut his grass.
It wasn't just like a like he just talked and did all the business, but he, like, also did all that in his store, and he was saying, like, how he's like a rip-off
He's telling you he'll
everything.
pay 5 times what Jerry pays.
Yeah. So yeah, then Michelle finds out something is up with Rico.
Yeah, she gets some alternate names for him, and she realizes that he wasn't Rico Nez until I think 1976. Was it?
Okay, but I don't think that she just realizes something's up with him at this point.
Okay. Something's up.
We don't really know what it is, but we just kind of know something. Yeah. Yeah. So TV rents Rico the van truck, and Michelle confronts Rico about kind of everything.
Yeah, and he uses it
with the names.
Very charismatically swings it into a dinner invitation, and then. She leaves, she walks out.
Yeah, and then Jerry and Eric talk about vegetables.
Yeah.
I don't know why I even bothered putting that in there. I don't think it's that. It
was kind of a funny clip though.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't important.
Well, it's not important, but it's funny though because Eric's kind of like, "This is the best you got," and Jerry's like, "Don't buy them, then." I wouldn't.
So yeah, Peter and Harris talk, and about Rico and how they're pretty much selling.
Yeah, well, Peter says, what would it take us to
sell themselves,
to do this, And
yeah, to
Harris
sell
says,
themselves.
A couple trips down south, and like we could probably get some grant money.
Another yak farm.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They don't tend to be the best when it comes to business.
Lynx River is midwifery school, anyway.
So, Sarah and Eric are cooking.
We cook, yeah. And then Rico and Michelle are at the detachment, and they talk. Then they have dinner.
Yeah, they actually do have dinner, so he gets his wish. He gets to have dinner with Michelle.
And then Rico and Jerry banter.
Yeah. So, Eric brings Joe some food. He doesn't like it. He's obviously not into the non-meat diet.
Yeah, I forget what it was he brought him, but yeah, it didn't look that appetizing. And then Michelle and Rico talk, and Hannah gets a magic trick.
Yeah, he does a little magic trick for Hannah, which you can see Hannah's very, very charmed by him, which,
I love Hannah's character, especially early on. And it was really nice for her to get that father figure, it was really saddening too, because she really could have used it and needed it, it seemed.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, he kisses Michelle. And
Yeah, some romanticism's going on.
Mm-hmm. Despite all this weirdness, they've still got this great connection despite all of the like untruths and everything. So Eric introduces himself.
Yeah, and he kind of barges into, not barges into, but barges like up to the table that Rico's, drinking at, and then after he's gone, he takes his cup to get prints for. Jerry says, drug squad habits come in handy, eh?
Yeah, because Jerry was about to grab the cup, and Eric kind of waved him off.
Holds his hand away and then takes the cup.
Well, I would
with a cloth, yeah.
Rico is mad at Michelle for the way that like Eric talked to him. He blames it kind of all on Michelle.
Yeah.
Which I think is really ridiculous. Like, they just like had that moment. You can't even give her like a second or to explain her.
He's probably trying to use the fact that he's got some sway on her to try to get some influence.
I don't know. Let's keep going.
Cops.
Okay, so then Rico and TV talk about home. TV just wants to get out of there. Mm-hmm. Rico's telling him, that he shouldn't be running. You should stay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Good point, Rico. So Sarah visits Joe. Then
she eats this fat cake cookie thing off the ground from outside of his tent in the snow.
Then Rico gives Michelle a dress.
Oh, it is absolutely beautiful, guys. Yeah. She looked Tina Keeper. Oh my God, you looked amazing.
Yeah, it took some convincing, but she eventually wore it, and man, it really suited her.
It was also it was honestly one of the prettiest dresses I have ever seen.
Yeah, it's very, very well crafted and very well designed, and and very traditional looking.
I'm literally almost crying, but it's just because of how beautiful that dress was.
Yeah,
honestly, it was a stunning piece of work. To even see something like that in person would be insane.
So then
they have a really passionate kiss.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you kind of. More is implied. Something's gonna.
Not yet. Sarah and Eric talk about Joe.
Yeah, and Sarah says that if
supper.
You want Joe to eat non-meat, the best way to do it is you invite him to dinner, because when you invite someone to dinner, like a dene person to dinner, they can't say no. They consider it impolite.
Yeah, well, and that's how Sarah had gotten to start eating caribou. She said. So yeah, and then Rico and Michelle.
Yeah, a little bit of action goes on.
Well, we think because this is afterwards.
There's pillow talk later.
Yeah, well, this is the pillow talk now. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So then there's he has this funny story about dentures bouncing on drums.
And we know Graham Greene can be funny. If you've ever seen him on the Red Green Show, he was he had a hilarious side to him as well back then, as well as now, right? So.
And they talk about his scars and everything as well. So that's
he was
kind of a deep.
Yeah, he was. They said he was pierced by sticks, and they pulled it out of his skin. I don't know if that was some kind of it sounded maybe like some kind of residential school type thing. But he's from the States, so it would have been a totally different, system that he's dealing with down there. I don't know.
TV tries to buy Joe's antlers, and he's like, nah. So Eric comes over, invites him over for burgers. Joe's like, okay. And TV's still trying to get him to sell him the antlers. And Joe's like $500. So then TV was like,
yeah, he basically tells him that just because he wants him to get lost, obviously.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to sell them. That's not who he is. He has to, for the meat and the fur and whatever, and that's it. Kind of sells what he can't use, whatever. So yeah, then.
Okay. So, I guess at the health center, there's a lot of injuries due to needle punctures and blisters because of all the artwork that's going on. So it's like a pandemic in town.
Marie
was
in there specifically, and then Eric invites Sarah over.
Yeah. So then Rico is getting short. Michelle's upset. Rico needs to run.
He tells Michelle everything, how he was the witness to the FBI murder that the FBI did.
The FBI covered up a murder that they committed.
Yes, that was it.
And he witnessed it.
Yeah.
So he's on the run, and he's not sure probably whether or not he's out to be killed by the FBI or arrested.
Yes.
But either way, they're probably going to frame him for the murder.
Either way, so Michelle doesn't believe, and then she changes her mind. So they're like going to the plane. She's kind of sending him to the plane, and that's when she sees step off 2 men in suits.
Yeah.
And like Eric says later, why would these men in suits be here on like this super, I forget what the charge was, sorry. I didn't write it down, I didn't really care.
Yeah, it was a minor charge,
it was
so
a minor
something
charge.
that wouldn't warrant the FBI
yeah,
flying
exactly.
up there
And
in a bush
it
plane.
was over like, it was between 10 to 20 years old or something. It was super old as well.
Yeah.
So it seemed really weird. So she changes her mind. And also, FBI agent number 2 is played by Daryl Shutterworth.
Yeah, which will be like later on known as
Arthur Curtis.
Yeah, Albert's lawyer.
Yes, so a different character, but either way, he is in it.
A great recurring character.
And we'll tell you a little more about that after. So Michelle gets Willie to hurry, and Rico leaves without FBI's in his butt. It was what I wrote for some reason. Sorry. But either way, so he gets to leave without them, and Michelle kind of distracts them. Is like, okay, well, come on, like I'll take you or whatever.
So then we go to dinner with Joe and Sarah.
They have falafel.
Yeah, it's burgers, and then Joe's kind of like, what kind of burgers is this? And he's like, falafel, and he's like, what's a falafel? And he's like, small goat. And he's obviously lying because whatever's in it isn't meat, but he's just giving him some excuse, Joe's kind of looking at him like, yeah, right, but he keeps eating
anything because in a way, like you can say it was kind of bad, it kind of wasn't. Maybe that'll be a discussion question, but like Eric, you can see like Eric is doing this because he has so much love and caring for him already.
Yeah, and Sarah cares about him too.
Oh yes, Sarah does.
She's already been trying to help him out.
So yeah, Eric and Michelle have a really long talk, and Michelle's upset. She kind of blames herself.
Yeah, she apologizes on the phone.
Yeah, because Rico calls Michelle.
Yeah, sorry. I jumped ahead of it there. Yeah, Rico calls Michelle and, checks up on her and thanks her.
And they have this kind of beautiful moment where he's just like, don't even worry about you. You came through in the end. Like,
yeah, she apologized.
I know you love me. Like, I know we have this. They have this great connection.
Yeah, and she says, like I'd like it if you'd come back sometime. So then they kind of say their goodbyes for now.
So yeah, that is it. Okay, I guess we will jump into the discussion. So, what do you see happening with Rico's character if he would have stayed in Lynx River? Now, I want you guys to obviously think about this, like if the FBI wasn't around, okay?
Yeah,
so like what would have happened with if Rico like just stayed in Lynx River and he didn't have the FBI on him? So think about that. I honestly would have seen him and Michelle obviously being together, but like we see later how other things transpire in Michelle's relationships. I still think she still would have found who she did at the end before he died.
It's
Oh my
possible.
god. I don't know. I'm trying to not to spoil this here, but I'm doing a really bad job talking. I should just be quiet.
That's alright. But, well, actually, I think it would have been a really good dynamic, because even if he was only with Michelle for a while, think about it, Albert would have got involved there, right?
Now,
Because,
even if he wasn't with Michelle at all and he stayed, he would have been a very interesting character nonetheless, I think.
Well, my point, though,
Would have
was
been
that, Albert would have
Oh, yeah.
definitely played something into this, because, like, if Michelle was with him especially, and he knew it, he would have tried to corrupt Graham Greene's character somehow, or maybe accuse him of something.
Yeah,
or,
maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. That seems like Albert's style. But anyways, that's just my
But
take
yeah,
on it. So what's number 2, baby?
you can't see.
Oh.
Do you think the FBI really would have killed Rico, arrested him, or what do you think would have transpired?
Well, it's hard to say. Like, I think one of those things, they might have killed him. Because if they're really covering it up and they wanted to pin that murder on him, it would have been a lot easier to cover it up if they're not bringing him in and he can't talk, right? So they could have just said, hey, he's a suspect in the murder. He tried to get away and we killed him, right?
I don't know. I thought that was kind of a bad question. I thought, well, obviously they're going to kill him. That was kind of my take on that one. But
it was my question.
So yeah. What do you guys think of how Eric lied to Joe? Do you think it was okay in a way because he did it with good intentions, or
Was it a so-called white lie?
or was it just a really bad thing to do? I don't know. What do you guys think? Our next episode is Season 1, Episode 12, Sisters of Mercy.
Yeah, that's an emotional one. It's going to be a tough one.
It's definitely interesting. Now, I will give you our little surprise with Daryl. So, Daryl Shuttleworth plays FBI Agent number 2 in this episode, which is why we're announcing this now. We've been in talks with him, and Daryl has agreed to come on the show
very graciously,
wonderfully, and do an interview. So he will be here to talk about his character as FBI Agent number 2 and Arthur Curtis, Albert's infamous lawyer.
Yeah, he was really, really forthcoming. It was really great that he answered our message and got back to us. So we're gonna have a great interview, and we're really looking forward to it.
Make sure you get your questions in. We will be questions need to be submitted by the end of this month, January 28th, to ensure that we have the time to get everything prepared and get it ready for our interview with Daryl.
For Albert's lawyer, you got to get those questions in.
And then, yes, you can be expecting the video out early February. I'm looking at February 2nd for our release date.
All right, that's going to be exciting. So thanks again for joining us. It's been another great video, I think. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, bye.